Oh, pay attention and get ready to join the call. This one might hit you in the feels. Hey, how you doing? It is Kurt here, Kurt with the Powersport Academy. I haven't gone live on the Powersport Academy channels in a while. This is going out to, looks like Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter, X, all at the same time. And I was doing some maintenance on the website. So I have a website called powersportacademy.com, powersportacademy.com. And in the Powersport Academy, I train dealers primarily on how to increase their parts and labor sales. However, it's not that simple. It's not an easy button that says, "Oh, make more sales." Here we go. It's like increasing the culture and communication and leadership, overcoming objections, how to sell, how not to sell, how to increase efficiency and productivity, and how to run your service department in a way that drives the whole business forward. And to me, I'm a service first kind of person. I know a lot of folks are sales first. They're always like the glitz of it, the new product. We just got to sell more units, sell more units, sell more units. But I always drive back to service sees the customer more than sales. Sales sells the motorcycle, sells the boat, sells the mountain bike, sells the car, whatever. And then service maintains that relationship over time. And it's them, it's the service department that can break that relationship and send that customer somewhere else. Now, your goal in sales is to keep the relationship going. You know as well as I do, you're watching this, the more you sell to the same family, the higher your margins go. So why are we skipping the part where the relationship gets maintained by the parts and service departments? It just blows my mind. And here's where I say, aren't you tired of meh? Aren't you tired? Aren't you just exhausted from meh? I literally just got a notification in LinkedIn about a post that I had written 2.5 years ago. And then another post came up that I got notified. So here's the weird part. People are on LinkedIn reading articles that I wrote 3 years ago. 2.5 years ago, I wrote about how social distancing was cool again and all this. Here it is, March of 2020. In fact, I'll share the screen. Let's go back to this. Boom. March 2020, March 25th, 2020. So that way, I'm not making this up. I'm not lying. I'm not going to say I'm a futurist. I'm not going to say I have a crystal ball, but I'm analytical. I use critical thinking. And so I put necessary components of customer communication in a crisis for power sports, marine, and, automotive, RV, mountain bikes, whatever. And I put, as the crisis was breaking, Mañana No Mas was online urging power sports and marine dealers to prepare for an increase in business. Everybody thought I was crazy March of 2020, but I wrote this, and what came true directly after I wrote this, okay? It says, you don't have to feel guilty to disappear on your motorcycle and distance yourself. Better, the experts all over TV telling people the importance of getting out for solo activities. Mountain biking, boating, road biking, hiking, running, and motorcycling are all considered essential activities. That was the state of California, March of 2020. That was right before they closed all the beaches and parks. How will you promote yourself in this time of crisis? Mañana No Mas promotes a system of customer improvement through relationship, communication, connection. If you plan to make a killing during the crisis by taking advantage of people, you're in the wrong article. Remember all the price gouging? Remember all the market adjustments? Remember all that nonsense? Even the OEMs did the surcharge to the dealers. It's exactly what I said not to do. Tell them what to expect. Communicate with people. Are you open? Are you closed? This is what we do during the pandemic. You guys remember that. Be prepared for your customers. Know what to expect with your customers. Is the equipment clean? Can you touch the employees or not? Like handshakes and high fives and stuff, right? Will the product be shown at a distance? Can they touch the product? Are test drives allowed or not allowed? You wanted to communicate that ahead of time. So you wanted social media posts, maybe a couple of blog articles, You wanted signage at your store about what the expectations of the business policies were, right? You didn't want to just have people yelling all over the showroom, making up rules as they went. You wanted to put it down. This was during the pandemic that I wrote this, right? It was actually pre-pandemic that I wrote this. I put, if your business is closed or if your clients decide not to attend physically, describe a version of a transaction that may still meet their needs. Ordering online, participating in a short Zoom call, etc., etc. Remember, your business thrives when people use their equipment. Encourage them to use the toys and the stuff you service. Then be there on the back end to provide terrific service through optimal communication. And I went through this whole thing. Folks, I got to tell you, 2020 came and went. 2021 came and went. 2022, 2023, they all came and went. And where were people training their service departments? Where were dealerships saying, wow, I should probably train my service department and get ready for this? You didn't do it. You didn't do it. Now, the reason I'm so inspired to say, aren't you tired of meh? Is I am currently working with the MRAA, and we are certifying dealers through sales, fixed ops, parts, through a whole thing. It's a dealership certification process, something I would love to implement in Powersports, but the MRAA already has it for Marine, and I work with them and help certify dealerships. I am one of the certification consultants. And so part of the certification process is not giving away any secrets here. I'm not crossing any NDA lines or breaking any rules by sharing this with you right now. But, as you can guess, having dealers mystery shop other dealerships it's a difficult proposition because you feel guilty. You feel like you're wasting someone else's time. You feel like, oh my goodness, I'm just wasting someone else's time here. But the learning experience is so critical on the back end that there's such a wealth of information to gain through the mystery shopping experience that to not do it is it's criminal negligence at some point, right? It's you learn so much. If you are the general manager or the owner of a dealership and you haven't mystery shopped your own store or mystery shopped your competition, you are missing out. Because as an owner or a GM, you're operating at a different level than the people in boots on the ground. Your perception is not the same as boots on the ground. So you're operating with certain assumptions that things are happening or that there's processes that are being followed. And I'm here to tell you, they ain't. So we had someone in our certification group really take the mystery shopping to heart, and I was glad that they did. And the results were astounding. Imagine, now we're going to talk about boats for a minute, even though I really talk about power sports with the Powersport Academy. But imagine you have a dealership selling boats. Now, for those that aren't in the industry, are boats cheap or are boats expensive? Boats are expensive. Now, people that sell boats might tell you this is a budget. This here's our budget model. But when you sell a product that comes with 20-year financing contracts, you have an expensive project, right? You have an expensive product. So imagine calling a dealer, not even an entry-level dealer. You're calling a dealer of note. You're calling a dealer whose name is known. You're calling someone where your expectation is, I'm going to see how it's supposed to be done so I can mirror that for my business, right? That's your expectation. So you call this dealer and someone answers the phone and goes, hello, Bob. What? Who? What? This is Bob. What do you need? What do you mean this is Bob? What do I need? What are you talking about? Like, whatever happened to, hey, thanks for calling XYZ, home of the Whopper. My name is Bob. How can I help you? Like, whatever happened to that? Well, that was gone. So you get this, yep, Bob. Okay. So let's say Bob answers the phone and Bob's like, so what'd you need? Well, hey, I'm kind of shopping at distance here, but I was interested in a couple of boats I saw on the website. Could you tell me something about this model? Yeah, we don't have it anymore. Oh, do you have anything similar? Yeah, we got two or three of those. I got a red one, a blue one, and a silver one. Okay. Well, how are those set up? Now, for those of you that don't know, boats come like with different engine packages or different rigging or different accessories, things like that. Some have, boomer stereo systems. Some have, a different size outboard motor. So you know what? You know what Bob says? One's red, one's blue, one's silver. One's red, one's blue, one is silver. Are you interested? I mean, does he think it's the height of the pandemic? Does he think it's literally just take orders and charge people a surcharge or an inflated market value and get ahead? Folks, let me tell you something else about Bob. Bob didn't ask for the customer's name. He didn't ask for the customer's phone number. He didn't ask for the customer's email. He didn't ask when the customer would be in town to see this boat. He didn't ask when the customer was thinking about getting a new boat. He didn't ask any questions. He just said, I got a red one, a blue one, and a silver one. Well, what motor's on them? Nah, I don't really know. The killer? How much are they, Bob? I really don't have the prices in front of me right now. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Imagine calling a parts department. You don't have to imagine because you could do it right now. You could pick up the phone, call your parts department, and ask for a part that people try to install themselves but usually have a hard time with. Like maybe it's a water pump for an outboard motor. Maybe it's a oil control valve on a Ducati, right? That's a good one. Now, because an oil control valve on a rear cylinder on a Ducati on a multistrada, that'll make you pull your hair out. So let's say it's something like that. Let's say it's something simple on a Ducati, like belts, a maintenance item, timing belts. Yeah, I need to buy a pair of timing belts for my Ducati Monster. Okay, great. We have them. They're $40 a piece. Okay. Well, what would be the next question that the guy in parts should ask? He should ask, are you planning to install these yourself, or would you like me to connect you with the service department to schedule an appointment? Like the idea that these departments don't work well together. I brought it up in class today, and I've brought it up with people in the Powersport Academy multiple times, and people look at me like my head is falling off my body. I'll say, hey, your parts department, do you think he interacts with customers more or less than the sales department? And people hemming and hawing, the hemming and hawing. Then they go, oh, well, probably more. I say, okay, great. So let's say over time, the parts person develops a relationship with this customer. The customer keeps coming in once every 2 weeks, once every month, and is buying a trinket for this, a trinket for that, a trinket for this, and a trinket for that. And it's starting to add up. He's starting to be known as the guy that's always fixing his motorcycle, always fixing his boat, always rebuilding his mountain bike, right? So finally, at some point, you've built a relationship with the customer. At some point, the parts person should lean over the counter and say, hey, Mr. Jones, not for nothing, man. You're building this thing one piece at a time. Would you like to talk to someone in sales about possibly trading this thing in and getting a new boat or getting a new motorcycle or getting a new snowmobile or a new mountain bike or a new whatever? Like at some point, you should have built enough rapport or relationship with your consumer that you can say, hey, would you rather just talk to one of my salespeople and trade out of this? I could tell them about all the new parts you just put on this thing. It's got some value. Why don't we trade it in and get you a new one? Same thing in service. And then I have parts managers that actually tell me, why in the world would I give that customer to sales? Because that's where my margins are coming from at the counter. It's not. It's not. The parts department is not independent of the sales department and the service department. Although you have separate columns on a spreadsheet, you are still very much part of the same business. So for parts to give up a customer to sales, that's not a bad thing. That is a great thing. And it takes that customer and puts them back at the front end of that funnel and works that customer back through sales, back through parts, back through service, and rebuilds that relationship on a stronger cornerstone than just being a simple parts customer. Now, I see some folks coming into the live. So if you want to ask questions or comment or tell me that I'm preaching to the choir, I'm here. I'll respond. I'll talk. I'll have a good time with you. But my point here is We all know this. So, all of us that work in this industry, all of us that are automotive, power sports, marine, we know that we are surrounded by people that are like, okay to be like, meh, whatever. Just last week, from a digital marketing perspective, I went online with my good friend, Spencer Foreman, and we did a thing called Marketing Solutions Hub, right? So, the Marketing Solutions Hub, I literally ran through a live demo with Spencer on a live that showed everybody, a really cool tool. It's a digital marketing tool. You can literally sell anything, anywhere. You got a special on oil changes, you make the special in this platform, it gives you a link. That link can go anywhere. Can go in email, can go in social media, can go at the bottom of a YouTube description, can go anywhere. And when a customer clicks that link, it takes them directly to the purchase screen. Like, not like driving people to a website to see a lead magnet or something like that. The lead magnet's already done. Whatever your social post was, sold it. Whatever your video was, it sold it. Whatever the email was, it sold it. So when the customer clicks on the link that's made in this tool, it goes directly to the purchase page, which, boom, collect the money, get the revenue, schedule the appointment, good to go. I'll be honest with you. I thought we were going to have to beat people off with a stick on that one because, people love the easy button, and this is an easy button. This is a completely easy button. We haven't had that many people jump in, and I'm a little bit shocked. Like, part of me's in shock, part of me's not in shock, because I look at it this way. The Power Sport Academy is in its 5th year. We're in our 5th year. And for those of you that don't remember what the Power Sport Academy is, that's this site right over here. So the Power Sport Academy has a bunch of courses in it. Guess who made the courses, right? The same guy that made the training for Ducati, the same guy that made training for Suzuki, same guy that made training for BRP, that wrote samples for Indian and Triumph and a bunch of other brands. I have it all here, right? So how to build teams with love. Now, building teams with love is a silly acronym. I understand that, but it's leadership, observation, verification, and emotion. And so we need to have each of those on our teams. And so it's a course on how to build a diverse team of A players that help build relationships with your customers. I have a whole course on customer retention. I have a whole course on just getting started in service. You're new. What if you're new to power sports? How do you get started in the service department? This is right here. It's right here. You go in here to getting started in service, and this one gives you all the mojo that you need. Free course. You see this? Free. You know how many people have signed up for the free course? Not many. Not many at all. Because for some reason, we're content to be in a state of meh all the time. We need to find success. The pandemic was our second, third, fourth chance as an industry to climb, was a chance to really grab the brass ring and grow. And we squandered it. We absolutely squandered it as an industry. And I'll be the first to tell you that. But using the academy. So I have a section on how to use the training portal. What's the difference between sales and service? How do you know if you're going to fit in or not working in the service department? How can you best prepare to enter the field, right? You can finish the course, but you got to get plugged in, right? We talk about that. And then how do I become a great service administrator, right? And so I go in and give you some details on, hey, if I really wanted to be good at this job, how would I get good at this job? And I give you some details on that. Now, again, that's just a getting started in service course. That's why it's free. I have how to use the phone as an effective sales tool. I just told you about Bob at the marine dealer, didn't know how to sell a boat, right? So how do we use the tool? How do we use the phone as an effective sales tool? And specifically in fixed operations. There's a difference between selling a new Panigale and setting up, a belt and Desmo service. There's a difference in that conversation. And so this course is very much geared towards fixed operations. And then the main course, fixed operations. There is so much meat in this course on how to run your service department in a way that generates revenue and efficiency. It'll blow your mind. And then how do you track when you're making a difference? Well, you got to know what your key performance indicators are. And so we go into that. And this is more like a 20 club kind of prep, but it's like What do you follow? What do you track? What are those numbers supposed to be? How do you know you're doing good or bad? It's all in there. But here's the thing. We got barely anybody doing this. And I'll tell you straight up, I'm not afraid to talk about a failure. This is a failure. We straight up have barely anybody in here doing this. I've played with the pricing. I have offered this package for as low as $1,500 and as high as $45,000. If you look in here right now, we've got $44,959. That's to train your whole team for the year. Train the whole team for the year for $45,000. Now, if I train your team for the year and you don't see an extra $500,000 in parts and labor revenue, something's definitely wrong, right? That means the team's just not applying the knowledge that's there. But here's the killer. If you wanted to, you could try this for 14 days for $1. You could sign up for $1, have access for 14 days. And here's another one. I got a 30-day money-back guarantee. You could sign up for $1. Then you could give me the $45,000 if you really wanted to. And 2 weeks later, if you still weren't happy, I just give you the $45,000 back. Why? Because I believe in the program, because I know that it works. And it just blows my mind that time and time again, we look at what's going on around us and we can go, this is like a meh situation. Meh. Folks, if you own a dealership, if you are a manager of a department within a dealership, and I don't care if it's automotive, Powersports, marine, mountain bike, RV, I don't care what genre you're in. If you're not actively seeking training to get better and to improve yourself on the clock and off the clock, you aren't serious about what you do. You know, it blows my mind. When I say, aren't you tired of meh? I say that because I have run multiple service departments that have gone from operating in the red to very much operating in the black. Could you imagine if you're a dealership that does $2 million a year in parts and labor sales? Could you imagine what it would feel like as the owner of that store to see it do $3 million in parts and labor sales a year later? It would be amazing, right? And it's all low-hanging fruit. It's all right there. And every time you think I'm full of it, pick up the phone, call a competing dealership, and ask them a question about a unit on the sales floor. Ask what it would take to get a Desmo service done at a Ducati dealer. Ask what it would take to get a water pump replaced at an Aprilia dealer. Ask what it would take to rebuild the top end on a CRF at a Honda dealer. And see the fumbled phone calls that you endure. See the difference in estimates that you're given, the lack of consistency in how you are communicated with as a customer. And then you'll understand, oh, that's what Kurt's talking about. What Kurt's talking about is training service personnel at the dealership level to give consistent experiences to customers at a higher level than what's currently being done, and you will see revenue that will blow your mind. But you got to embrace the work. It's the long game. You got to embrace the work. You got to be willing to do it. I'm seeing it firsthand right now in the marine industry because of the work that I'm doing directly in the marine industry. I have seen it through the Powersport Academy, and I've seen it through a lack of concern in the Powersport Academy. Imagine having access to everything in the Powersport Academy that I just gave you. Now, when you take a look at this website and you take a look at the coaching packages that we have in the Powersport Academy, I want to be really, really clear about this. I didn't mention this yet. There's the individual packages, right? So this is like for one person. So a small shop, a service writer, a service manager, one person. Now, if you take a look at this, $1,249, boom, coaching for an individual, no problem. Here it is, and that was for per month. So it's $1,249 per month, 12 total payments, 1 year of access, blah, blah, blah. Here is something that you probably haven't put together yet. For this money, you're getting live coaching with me or one of our instructors. So imagine you get access to the courses, you're taking the courses, and then let me get out of here so I don't distract myself. You get access to the courses, you train yourself in the courses, you get the theory, but then you get on a live coaching call and we drill you and we go, what's this? What's that? What's this? What's that? There's homework to do. So you do your homework at the end of the month. You submit the homework. We take a look at your numbers. Are you going up? Are you going down? Are you growing? Why are you at this percentage of warranty? Why are you at this percentage of customer pay? Why do you have this percentage of parts to labor? What does your CSI look like? And we start getting into your CSI. Well, what are the root causes for this CSI dip? How can we fix this root cause? And we get into the custom operation review of your dealership so that this training has the highest level of impact at your location. Now imagine somebody has access to that. They have access to the courseware. They have access to me. They have access to trainers that work with me. And 6 or 7 months in, they're just kind of like, oh, I'm not going to be able to make the meeting this week. Or I didn't implement that yet. We just didn't get around to it. Folks, I can't wrap my head around it. I can't figure out why people are so content with meh all the time when there's so much better out there. Now, I could go on, but I won't, because I've been on here for 26 minutes ranting and raving, and it's not about that. I want to inspire folks, and I'm not sure how to do it. I tried being nice. I tried being pleasant. I tried showing people this is what you get. Like I tried to sell the vitamin. I tried to say, hey, take these vitamins and you'll feel better. And people were like, I don't really feel sick, so I don't give a shit. But now I'm saying, feel the pain. Feel the pain. Your customers are pissed. Look at your reviews. Look at what people say about you on Google My Business. Look at how people refer to your business on Facebook. Look at how people refer to your business on Yelp, and ask yourself, wow, could that be better? I mean, could all those customers be crazy, or do we actually kind of suck just a little bit? And the moment that you go, maybe we suck just a little bit, that's when you go, we can make this better. We can sign up, we can become part of the Powersport Academy, and we can improve this situation. Now, I'm getting tempted to do something crazy. I'm not sure if I want to do crazy just yet, but I'm really tempted just to ask dealer owners, general managers out there, what's the magic investment value for you? Like, what's your threshold for risk? What's the price where you would say monthly coaching, access to courses, review of homework, integrated goal setting with my staff? Like, where does that value for you come in at? You know, is it $45,000 a year? Right? Did I hit it on the head? Am I too cheap? Were you thinking, that should be at least $100,000 a year? I don't know why he's doing it so cheap. He must suck. Or do you think it's $20,000 a year? Do you think it's $10,000 a year? Do you think it's $5,000 a year? I'd love some feedback on this. I'd love to see what you think is appropriate. Because here's the deal. If you are running a motorcycle dealership right now and you're waiting for Honda, Kawasaki, Suzuki, Yamaha, BRP, someone to come out with a program that's free for you to take to train your service riders, it ain't coming. It ain't coming. If you're part of BRP and you're part of the quality service program, newsflash, I helped write that guidebook. I'm fully familiar with the program. They're off to a great start. They are. But I think there's more value in the Powersport Academy, to be honest with you. Oh, and by the way, it ain't free when you get it through them. Now, you might be a new dealer with BRP and you might be required to take that, as part of your signing on and all that kind of, I totally get that. But I'm just putting it out there. If you're waiting for someone else to pay to train your staff, it ain't coming. It ain't coming. You had your chance during the pandemic to really substantially increase your business and knock it out of the park. And no matter how much I went live and begged for people to do it online, nobody did it. And now the pandemic's over, right? Social distancing is not a thing anymore. Museums are open. The movies are open. Restaurants are open. So that whole riding motorcycles is essential, that's out the window again. So now we got to figure out old school business, how we're going to continue to grow and build these businesses. And if you don't commit to making a change, if you don't commit to getting better, it's not going to get better. So that's my piece for today. I might have come down a little hard today. Maybe that wasn't as social could be. I also didn't see any comments come in, so nobody told me I was crazy. No one told me I was wrong yet. We'll see if people answer in the replay. But I would love to hear from you. I don't care if you put a comment here, or if you hit me up on powersportacademy.com, or if you hit me on a DM on one of these platforms that I'm broadcasting this on. If you say, dude, I think you're nuts, that's fine. That's fine. Let me know why you think I'm nuts, and I'll see if it's something I need to tweak or change. But to have all of these assets, to have all of this here and able to give to dealerships to help them find success and to watch them just pee it away is mind-boggling. Mind-boggling. And like I said, when we did the mystery shopping as part of the certification course this week and the results from the mystery shopping came in, I was blown away at how poorly dealerships performed in this last round of mystery shopping. Now, granted, I'm talking about the marine industry right now, but it's not like I'm going to go to Powersports and it's going to be better. So, Mr. Panzer Dragoon, keep posting, he says. Keep posting. Well, thank you for the support there, sir. When you do the mystery shopping, and the proof is in the pudding, folks. The proof is in the pudding. When you do the mystery shopping and you see the performance or the lack of performance through sales, through parts, through service, it is heartbreaking, because I know the millions of dollars it took to get the building, to get the inventory, to get the financing, to pay the floor plan, to deal with HR, to deal with the government, to have to deal with the environmental, to deal with all of that nonsense and run this business, and watch people just pee it away through ignorance and a lack of effort is absolutely astounding. Absolutely astounding, because we could do so much better. That's it. The rant is over. Mr. Panzer Dragoon, thank you so much for chiming in. And folks, feel free to comment on the replay. I'd love to hear from you. Have a good one. Bye-bye.